There's definitely a most important thing you should do right when you start Raid Shadow Legends. It's pretty basic knowledge. Everyone knows what it is. I'm talking, of course, about making a 6-star farmer right off the bat. Now, it doesn't have to be somebody as crazy as Ray, but the first thing you should do when you get to this game is get one person all the way to 6 stars, as maxed out as you can possibly get them. And preferably, this character should be your farming character, meaning somebody that can preferably farm Bruto 12-3 or Bruto 12-6. And for this reason, it's probably going to be a magic-based champion. People like Kale work very fine for this. Even Gaelic can solo 12-3. Even though he's not 100% consistent. And so even the starters can be the ones that can be your farmers. But if you've pulled any shards and you've happened to pull one person who's maybe a little better than the starter, it can be that person. It doesn't really matter, but you got to get somebody to 6 stars, level 60, with decent gear, a little bit of masteries if you can, but you don't really even need the masteries, and just to be able to farm efficiently. Now, another good character choice is Bellower, because he's a void character, so he's not going to have the chance of hitting, like, weak to anything, and for that reason, he's a very consistent farmer, but he is a void character, so he can be harder to pull. Now, as far as gear goes, there is multiple different types of farmers. If you get like an AoE farmer like Ray, Queen Ava, Bellower, people like those are going to be based upon just having high crit rate and crit damage. They're relying on going into each round, one-shotting the wave, moving on to the next wave, one-shotting the wave, and etc. However, a lot of the earlier farmers that people use, like Executioner, Relic Keeper, people like that, rely a little bit more on Vamp. That way they're constantly draining health to stay alive, and they're, one-shotting people at a time or counter-attacking. And their gear is going to be different. It's not so much relying on just pure damage as it is just sustaining and slowly soloing people one by one. Now, if you do have a magic character with the blue affinity, 12-3 is the best silver and 12-6 is going to be your best experience. I tend to like to do 12-3 because I like to blow through a lot of silver for gear. And when you have just your one character that can farm, it ends up looking something like this. You put in your characters that you're going to use as food, you start the match, it's just going to auto its way through it, and I'll show you how the waves go. Now, my Ray has some attack percentage, some crit rate, some crit damage. I cannot one-shot all of the waves, but I can one-shot the first two, and then the third one's going to take a few multiple hits. And now, every now and then, if you can't one-shot the wave, they're going to get a go, and then the people that you're farming are going to go, and it's going to make your team take longer to level because more actions are going to happen. So you want to try to get them strong enough that it can one-shot all 3 of the waves. That is the ideal scenario. One thing to keep in mind while you're trying to get to that max damage is getting the 6-star Ascension actually increases your critical damage base stat as well. So you do want to try to get that last Ascension. And keep in mind, if you're going to use a legendary like I am as your farmer, it's going to be very difficult to get skill books for it. And that also means it's going to take away those skill books from potentially a different legendary that you may pull later that could be used in a different part of the game. For this reason, using a legendary as a farmer can be efficient if you pull it early. I pulled Ray in my 3rd Ancient Shard ever, so it was a no-brainer for me. But if you have other characters or you already have Bellower or something and you pull a legendary farmer, I don't really know if there's too much of a reason to switch from what you already have if you're clearing quickly. Another thing to keep in mind is that RNG is actually fixed, meaning that if you have all the characters the same level, like here I have 24, 11, 11, and 60, as long as everyone's the same level and the same characters, every single time I go into this battle, it is always going to happen in exactly the same order. For that reason, if you have somebody who is weak to a certain character, like my Ray can actually hit weak against one of the people in the first row, while you're leveling, if you notice that the characters you're leveling with seed the RNG to make your character hit weak on the first one, it can almost double the time it takes to level characters. For this reason, I've noticed that it's almost quicker to have a void character that's a slower farmer if that begins to happen to you. For this reason, I do believe you would save yourself a lot of time and effort to try to use a Void Farmer if that's at all an option for you. Now, what actually makes a good farmer is typically you're looking for somebody that has like high base attack as well as an AoE on all three of her moves. That way, the AI will never really screw it up. It's always going to hit everybody. And if you want to know if your champion is maybe going to be a good farmer, you can go into the index, click on any character, and it will show you its max leveled stats, although without gear, and you can see, oh, this guy has a 1500 base stat attack. Oh, but this one only has 1,000. Maybe she's not a good farmer. And I'll probably get a lot of flack for this because these are actually horrible pack deals. But if you ever see a pack deal that's like a critical damage set early on when you're building a farmer and it's like one of the $10 ones, that's actually not that bad of a chance. If you buy one or two of them, the odds are you'll probably get at least one set bonus because it's a 2-set bonus. And that can make the difference between like a 8-second, 30-second farm and like a 20-second farm, which overall saves you so much time and effort when you're actually playing the game that for me, it's just worth it anyway. Also, when you're doing your farmer, if you get an AoE farmer, it's they go first because they have fast enough base speed. Make sure that you get the crit rate or crit damage gloves, preferably crit damage, and your crit rate comes from secondaries. Your chest plate, you're probably going to want an attack percentage. That way they do as much damage to one-shot the wave as possible. And the boots, you're probably actually going to want attack percentage as well. Now, if it's somebody who's more like the vamp set, type of farmer, the person you put the lifesteal set on, they're going to be based more upon speed because you want them to go and constantly get hits to regenerate their life. But the AoE farmers like Ray, Queen Ava, Bellower, these people you're going to want high attack, high crit rate, high crit damage, and just one-shot everybody. And also the necklace, you're probably always going to want a crit damage primary necklace because it just helps a ton. Masteries, for the most part, they're going to be very obvious. You just want like crit rate, crit damage. You do also try to want to get the masteries that give you damage the first time you hit somebody. If you look at this one, like you get 8% additional damage. Well, obviously with an AoE that's one-shotting people, that's just 8% all the time because you're one-shotting everyone, right? There's some other ones like decreasing the cooldowns of random skills. These are important too because if you have like one move that one-shots people, but one move that only like half-shots people, you can use that one and then decrease the cooldown, and sometimes it can be up again by the time the final wave comes and can decrease how long it takes. There's a few other ones, but some of the other important ones like critical damage, you don't, on your farmer, an AoE farmer, you don't really want like the Giant Slayer or anything because you're not going for like, a 30% chance to do 3% of their max health. That's like 100 damage. You really just want maximum bang, 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 nuke everyone down. What's also kind of cool is if you go down this route of just super nuke, if you see my arena guide, I kind of talk about how you can use a super nuke character to climb arena really easily. And you can use this same strategy to do that. You can take your super nuker, you can go in and let's just pick the top one here. And you can use your farmer as a double dip into your arena team. Also, your farmer can also be used in like the spider dungeon too. So there's more things you can have done with your farming character than just purely farming if you build the character around just mass AoE nukes. There's a few places in the game that you need that. Even the Minotaur needs some wave clear to get to the Minotaur quickly and efficiently. So you can use them there too, even if they have like an aura or something that can be used in other dungeons. There's more ways you can get more. And you saw right there, I got 2 characters dead just from my farming nuker right off the bat, and Bellower can be used this in the same way, can, one-shot people too. I've lost to Bellower. So there's multiple ways you can get, multiple types of value out of building a character this way and out of doing this first. You get your farmer first, which means you efficiently gain XP and everything else you do in the game will be quicker, and you also get value in other ways. So if it was up to me, I would say the most important thing that you want to focus on, the first thing and probably the best thing to do when you're starting the game, is get a farmer, get him level 60, try to fully max him out, do all the things I mentioned previous in this video. Trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time going forward. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one, and I hope you all have a good day.